Today you're going to see the secondary air system in my BMW. First, we have the secondary air pump coming down to the air pump valve. Now, I've had some trouble with this system. No error codes were thrown, but I've just had some breakage in the line, which I'm going to be repairing today and just kind of giving you guys an overview of what the secondary air system is. So you saw the secondary air pump not listed here on this graphic. Number 14 was the air pump valve. Basically, that takes vacuum from the air intake manifold and it injects air into the exhaust manifold to help with some of the unburned fuel during a cold startup. We continue here under the Vanos system, and you can already see a little flimsy rubber hose. Now you might want to check that for connection to this metal tube. You can see they fortified the rubber hose here by switching it out with a metal tube to continue on here under the Vanos and to this electrical vacuum switch connector. And we come to number 7. You can also see a couple more flimsy rubber tubes, number 6 and number 9, which you can easily see right here on the blue and white. So basically this valve right here just opens and closes whenever air is needed to go into the exhaust. And we follow that white rubber tube below the air intake manifold and we come to the non-return valve. This basically is a little check valve to allow air to flow one way, and intuitively I would say it would flow up the line into the vacuum control switch and not the other way. We also have another part that is sort of part of the secondary air system. It's going to be located under here. We're going to take the throttle body off and we're going to show you guys that. But before we do that, I had a break in the line when I was changing some other things under the air intake manifold. I had to go get some replacement vacuum tube and I had to get a replacement vacuum T at number 2. So I replaced number 4, 19, and 2, and we're back in business. So before I actually attached number 4 to number 5, I had to thread it underneath the intake manifold. Now to do that, you see I've already attached it. I had to take off the throttle body. You can see I've already attached it, and all I have to do is kind of reach under there and attach it to this little thing right here, this little nipple coming off of what they call the vacuum reservoir. Now I've actually seen somebody call it the EGR valve, but I don't think the E36 even has an EGR valve. After doing a lot of research on some forums and looking at a lot of pictures, I think that is a vacuum reservoir. All it does is just store extra vacuum air. So basically I just take this tube and I push it through and I make sure it's attached to the vacuum reservoir. In the meantime, I also have to make sure that I cut a long enough piece to be able to attach it back to the non-return valve. And after a couple of minutes, I'm able to get the vacuum tube onto the vacuum reservoir. Now all I have to do is make sure that I can attach the non-return valve to the other side of the T valve. Now remember, the top of the T valve is just branching off the intake manifold and it's allowing vacuum to split to the non-return valve, which eventually will go to the exhaust manifold, and the other side of the T valve will just supply extra vacuum to the vacuum reservoir. So now we come back to this graphic and we see that we have touched every piece on this list. If this video helped you out, I'd ask that you maybe share it with a friend who owns a BMW, share it on your social media pages. Also, leave a like and leave a comment if you think I got anything wrong. And as always, thanks for watching.